Okay, so if you're a manager in the hospitality world, you know the deal. It is an absolute grind, right? It's fast, it's high pressure, and honestly, just keeping your team fired up can feel like a whole separate job. Well, today, we're opening up a playbook that's designed to help you solve exactly that.
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I mean, between demanding customers, surprise critical reviews, and just the relentless pace of service, it's so easy for that team spirit to just fizzle out. So, what's the secret? How do you not just keep that flame from going out, but actually make it burn brighter than ever?
We're about to break down 4 really powerful plays from hospitality expert Maurice. Seriously, think of this as your practical guide to cranking up the energy and dialing in the excellence for your entire team. Let's do this.
All right, first up, play number 1, external affirmation. This one is all about harnessing the power of praise that comes from outside your 4 walls. We're talking critics, awards, even those glowing customer reviews. It's an incredibly powerful tool for building that collective confidence.
So, how do you actually put this into action? It's pretty simple, but so effective. First, give your team a clear goal to rally around, like aiming for a Michelin star, winning a local Best of award. Second, and this is huge, make sure every single piece of positive feedback gets shared with the entire team. Let everyone soak in that collective pride. Just look at this example from a restaurant in Paris. After getting some really great reviews, they decided to go for the big one, a Michelin star. All of a sudden, the entire team, from the kitchen to the front of house, was united by this single mission. And in the end, it wasn't just about the award. It was about that shared journey, which totally elevated both their quality and their team spirit.
And that's really the key takeaway here. External validation isn't just a nice pat on the back. It is high-octane fuel for your team's engine.
So, we've just talked about the power of getting the whole group pumped up. But what happens when you switch gears and put the spotlight on just one person?
Well, that's exactly what our second play is all about.
Play 2 is called Share the Light. And this is about making individual employees the heroes of the story. Because when you recognize one person's talent, a funny thing happens. That drive to be great becomes totally contagious.
Just think about this. A restaurant in Lyon gets its sommelier featured in a magazine article. Of course, his personal pride just goes through the roof. But it didn't stop there. Other team members saw that and thought, hey, I want that too. It lit a fire under them to sharpen their own skills, creating this awesome ripple effect of improvement across the entire staff.
So the lesson here isn't about creating jealousy. Not at all. It's about creating aspiration. It shows everybody on the team what's possible, and it inspires them to reach for their own moment in the spotlight.
Now, both of our first 2 plays really depend on communication. But there's a critical breakdown that can happen way too easily. And that brings us to play 3, complete the circuit. This is all about making sure the good news actually gets to the person who earned it.
We've all seen this happen. A customer sends this amazing email, just raving about their server. The manager reads it, thinks, hey, that's great, and then, poof, it gets filed away, that's it. The compliment dies right there in an inbox. And all that amazing motivational energy, it's just gone.
The winning process adds just one simple, totally game-changing step. The compliment comes to you, the manager, and you immediately pass it on to the employee involved. By completing that circuit, you amplify the compliment's impact, like tenfold.
Check out this example from a restaurant in Marseille. A manager gets an email praising a waiter. Instead of just forwarding it along, he waits for the team meeting and congratulates the waiter publicly, in front of everyone. The effect was absolutely electric. It didn't just boost that one employee, the morale of the entire staff went through the roof.
And this is why your role is so vital. You see, a compliment from a customer is nice, but that same compliment, delivered by their leader, well, that becomes a powerful moment of recognition that can totally transform their day and their work.
Of course, not every day is filled with compliments and praise. Sometimes things go wrong. And that brings us to our final and maybe the most important play, champion perseverance. This is about building a team that doesn't just survive challenges, but actually gets stronger because of them.
So how do you build this kind of resilience? It really comes down to 2 key things. First, you have to reframe failure. A bad review isn't a disaster, it's data. A crazy, stressful service is a chance to learn. And second, use all that positive feedback you've been collecting as fuel for the hard times. Remind them of their biggest wins when they're facing a loss.
Look at this incredible comeback story from Bordeaux. A new restaurant opens and the reviews are mixed, even negative. It would have been so easy to get discouraged.
But instead, they treated that feedback like a roadmap. They analyzed it, they made adjustments, and they just kept pushing. A few months later, all that perseverance paid off with a national award.
The lesson here is that fostering this kind of determination is a core part of your job as a manager. When your team truly believes they can stick with it and get better, they can overcome pretty much any obstacle you throw at them.
So there you have it. 4 powerful plays to build a team that's motivated, high-performing, and incredibly resilient. Let's do a super quick recap of those 4 pillars.
Your 4 best allies are external affirmation, individual recognition, clear communication, and unwavering perseverance. When you build your management style on this foundation, you create an environment where everyone feels valued and is driven to do their absolute best work.
Look, at the end of the day, your team is your single greatest asset, no question. So now you've got the playbook, you've got the strategies. The only thing left to ask is, which play are you going to run first? Thanks so much for joining me for this.